Welcome back everybody to Tony's Top Tips Workshop. Today's video is a follow-on from the Tenons and it's going to show you the software program, the toolpath I created for the Haunched Mortise and the Mortise. There's two different ones, but I'm not going to show you machining the normal Mortise. It's just going to do the Haunched Mortise. I think it'll show you, because if you can cut a normal Mortise with the machine, you can cut a haunched one as well. So I'm going to show you the haunched, and we're going to do that now. It's one of those machining processes that's quite lengthy. I think it's about 12.5–13 minutes to cut a Mortise, but I could cut it quicker if I had a bigger motor on there, air cooled or water cooled spindle, or a 1 horsepower outer, so you could take more off, and you step over, you could increase that as well. So you'll have to bear with me on this, but I'm going to take you over to the machine and show you what the actual process is, and I'm also going to show you the toolpaths on Vectrix Aspire. So we'll go there now, over to the PC, and we'll show you that first. Right, here we are at the PC. I've got Aspire open now, Vectrix Aspire, and you can see that my starting point is in the centre. This black line here is the actual Mortise, okay? It will have round corners in, because obviously a cutter can't cut square in the corner. If it leaves round, that's why you take the corners off the tenons. That's it, okay? Now, I'll just get rid of that. So the starting point's the centre. Now, you can see what happens. It runs round, and then it runs round there, okay? So on the simulation, which is, I'll show you the simulation. Right, what we'll do is we'll preview visible toolpaths, okay? Now that seems pretty quick there, but you can see what it's doing. I should just slow that down again, move that so you can see a little bit better, okay? You can see that. That's what it's doing. It's pocket cutting, so it starts in the centre and cuts to the outside, but in a clockwise motion. Okay? So that's a simple program, and it doesn't matter what width your timber is. There, you know, when you set your job up, as long as you put in the correct, when you create an oblong for a toolpath to be cut, create it exactly the size of your Mortise that you require. This is 12 mils, okay? So once it's cut that, you can actually check afterwards if there's any discrepancy in the cutters, because it's a 6 mil cutter, so the software program actually works it out what it needs to do in order to allow for all the movements and the machining to give you a 12 mil width Mortise, okay, and a 52 mil long Mortise. And as you can see, it's quite a long number of passes. Right, once you've machined out the Mortise, check it. You want to try it on a sample piece of timber first. I always do. And if your Mortise is under or over, you can adjust the actual size of your box that you created. That's there. You can actually increase that by just going into there, and you can see that it's 12 mil by 51 mil, okay? So the actual machine might cut slightly undersize, depending on the accuracy of the cutters and the width of the cutters, and then if your machine's a little bit plus or minus on the accuracy, but you can alter that in order to give you what you want. Okay, and then when you sample it again and do a test cut, you'll know. Mortise to the correct width that you want and length, then it's easy just to adjust the cut on when you're machining the tenons. It's not once you get into the swing of it, it's really simple. You'll get, oh yeah, and you'll know that as I was saying earlier, if your materials bang on the right thickness on all your material, and your rails are the same thickness either end. Sometimes they're not. Just be careful, depends on how it's come out of the planer and how it's been planed. It can taper off, so just make sure that you've got it the right way, because you're not working from a face, you're working all the time the same face, you're working from alternate faces. So as I said earlier in the previous video with the cutting the tenons, if you get quarter of a mil or half a mil difference between the thickness of the material on one side of the rail to the other side, you'll have that difference in your tenon. Okay, right, I've just shown you the actual normal mortise toolpath that I created, and this is the haunch one. The only difference is there's two toolpaths in this. There's the haunch part, which is that one, and then there's the mortise part. Okay, now on the normal mortise, you can see there by the pink line there that it comes up to here, and the haunch part steps over, and that's basically to clear for the haunch, so that you've got around, it's got to step over. You've got to make sure that when it cuts the haunch out here, that it actually clears and leaves no round to take off, because otherwise if you did it to there, and what would happen is you would end up with a round in the corner. So this comes past, hoping it'll take the actual haunch off. I'll show you in the 3D view and preview all visual toolpaths, and you can see that that's cutting the mortise out first, because that's the best way to do it, and then once it's done the mortise out, however many passes, it'll cut the haunch out. Okay, and you can see that there, that's the haunch mill. It's about 8 mil is the haunch. Okay, and that'll come through the edge of your actual rail, okay, or your leg, or whatever you're doing. As I say, I'm going to show you this cutting, because it's pointless actually showing you cutting the normal mortise, because it's the same as this really, except it's got a haunch on. So we'll go over to the machine, and as you can see there's two toolpaths. Okay, and that's the mortise one, which it does first, and then the haunch one. And when you save it, it saves it all as one actual file, but it's got two toolpaths in. Okay, so what we'll do is I'll take you over to the machine now, and then I'll show you the setup that I do in order to get this. And you can see I'm working from the centre, which is there, and it's the centre of the mortise. Okay, that's where I'm working from. That's been added on separately as the haunch. Okay, so we'll go over to the machine now. Right, here we are at the machine. As you can see there, just get a pencil and point out to you, I've put a V-bit in so I can get the centre of the rail. So that's exactly the centre of the rail, and it's my centre of my mortise. Okay, that's same distance there as it is today of the mortise, not the haunch. Okay, so I'm working on that. So I've done that, and what I'll do now is I'll lift the Z-axis up, and then once I lift the Z-axis up, I'll change the cutter for the one that I require, and I'll do a touch off then, so then I'm exactly the top of there. Okay, right, with the Z-axis, switch the MPG, we're going to lift the actual Z-axis up. So we move it up, Okay, I'm going to change the cutter. Pop the cutter in that we're going to be using. Next thing we do is use a touch off probe. Okay, go to your touch off on the offline controller and mute probe. There we go, touched off. Finish with that, pop that back. So now we're set to the centre. We've touched off, so the Z axis is right. Once you've got your centre, set your Z probe for height. Then we go onto start project, click there on the offline controller, and then what we will do is we go down to the X and Y and zero that off. Okay, the Z axis is on the probe, so that's zeroed off at that. And then what we would do is we will go into our pick our software, which will be the Haunched Mortise. Okay, click on that and then we are ready to go. Click on the play and off we go. There you can see I've actually put a protection piece of timber in and a clamp across to the fence and just held that in place. Okay, because you will get more vibration on cutting the mortise than you will on the tenon. Okay, because you're cutting into something which disturbs the actual material with the vibrations sent through the timber. Okay, so you'll see it all in action, and I'm going to set the machine off running now. So the spindle will be on, spindle's going, and now we'll set the machine running. Right, this has moved on to doing the haunch now. As you can see, it's easier to because it's cutting through, so you're not, it's easier on the cutter, let's put it that way. This will go down to a depth of about 8mm. There we are, job complete. we'll knock the chippings out. I've not done anything with this Haunched Tenon, okay, and mortise, so let's see what happens when we put this together, okay. You see that? Lovely and level, both sides. And it's not a sloppy tenon neither, okay. And just to show you that the other one I cut, that's the sample one, if you remember, that I cut. You see that one? That was just to make sure everything was okay. These are on scrap pieces, so it's only to show you. And if you look at that one, perfect. Okay, so it shows that this machine is quite capable of cutting slow, depending on what spindle you've got, but it just goes to show it cuts mortise and tenons, haunched or normal, absolutely perfect. Okay, and you'd have a job on cutting those as accurate as that, unless you're really good at it. Okay, that's the conclusion of this video. Don't forget, haunched or straight tenons and mortises, or haunched, whichever you want to do, it will do them, and it will do them accurately. You will have to go a long way to get a tenon as good as that cut by hand. You can do it, and believe it or not, and I'm not blowing my own trumpet, I can cut them as good as that, but it'll take me longer. Okay, that's that one, and then you've got the other one. Okay, and that's a normal one. So remember, it is versatile as this machine, and it's not just for doing CNC work. Okay, utilize what you've got, think about what you want to do, and can you do it manually using it as an overhead router. Okay, in the comment section please let me know if you've done this, and if you're going to do it. If you need any help, just ask. That's what I'm here for, and I will try and help you as much as I can. I haven't got all the answers, but I will try and help you, or try and find the answers for you. And remember, thumbs up if you like the video. It helps me a lot, and I know it lets me know that I'm going in the right direction, because let's face it, sometimes you start with you start doing a video, and then you get sidetracked, and it doesn't seem to come out as you intended to. But anyway, as I say, like and subscribe, thumbs up, look out for my next video, and which be on the jig and pin on this CNC machine. The only way you could improve the cut on this is by increasing the spindle size, whether a router or a water cooled or air cooled separate spindle with a VFD. But there you go. Really, it's coming to the end of, once I've shown you the jig and pin, it's coming to the end really, is showing you what other uses you can use this CNC machine for, other than CNC work. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a hobby machine, it's not a professional machine. My pro machine would have cut those mortises and tenons in a fraction of the time, but you have to work within the limits of the machine, and safely. So remember, as I always say, you be safe, you be careful, and see you next time. Bye for now.